Friends, good evening. Today we are at the end, we just come to the closing session of the DEFSAT 2023. I have Lt.Gen PJS Pannu sir with me, and he has given us some very information regarding the DEFSAT, what has conspired the last 3 days. It was a very interactive sessions were there, panel discussions were there. So, sir, we would like you to summarize it for us, sir.
Thank you, Sanjay. For last 3 days, we assembled along with the industry and the defense services put together. And of course, the representation in the DEFSAT 23 was from the regulators, from the think tanks, the lawyers were there, and practitioners of space and space warfare. I think we all sat together and deliberated upon the futuristic scenarios for which India should prepare itself, in not only to imbibe those necessary requirements which are meant for us to become a space power for the future, but also to be able to ensure that the fourth domain of warfare, that is the space, is put in the right perspective. Only then the industry would know what to provide for. And I think the good thing is that the industry is ready.
It's ready now.
The industry is ready. And I think they're just looking for more directions, and they're very enthusiastic. And that is the outcome of DEFSAT 23.
Yeah, that's very great. And I also personally noticed that today the Air Vice Chief Kotsa was there, and Air Vice Chief Ranjan sir was there, and everybody was so much keen. Yesterday they were all in their combat uniforms. So this has set the ball rolling for more such discussions, and will be all over the country. And then DRDO, we had the ISRO chairman yesterday. So how was your meeting with them, sir, in the morning?
See, with the DRDO and the ISRO, together I think the research and development in our country has reached that point that the private industry can kick in, along with their own research and development, because a number of patents or IPRs are also coming in from the private sector. The young startups are very enthusiastic about it, because the young startups are actually coming with the higher end of technology. And along with the existing ecosystem and the labs which have been opened up for the startups and for the private industry, I think there is a huge amount of synergy, which is going to make it possible for the Indian space industry to provide those solutions in all the domains. It is just that some designing and manufacturing had to be brought into a consortium mode. And I suppose when we assemble here, it is not only what gets spoken by the experts, or also giving an opportunity for people to interact with one another and find commons,
Yes.
discuss problems, find common solutions, and go back home well networked for the next time to come and say that all those solutions have been now readied with the problems that were projected during one of these meetings. I suppose we are looking at the window of next 6 months that we will find more and more solutions for the defense coming in for the empowering the space sector.
And so lastly, the satellite, the SATCOM Industry Association, the body, and St. Joe's, and everybody was equal, participation. We had industry partners, media partners, so we'd like to thank them as well. And now we are gearing up for the Space Congress in July, 10th, 11th, 12th.
Yes, last year we did the Space Congress, but Space Congress at that time was talking about both the space, which are general applications of space, and also the defense. But it was then found that in one Space Congress you cannot do justice to both. So therefore we've done the DEFSAT. But in Space Congress, again, I suppose some amount of remnants of the defense which could not have been discussed would be discussed there also. But largely it will be the international players coming in, space diplomacy again, brought to fore, and how we can collaborate with the world in terms of the space, which is a global common. But in that, how we benefited out of it through collaboration and through indigenization is something that India Space Congress would set to achieve, and achieve higher benchmarks.
So talking just to sum it up, when we were on the first day on 27th, we had this panel discussion on space diplomacy, And we had participation from a lot of defense attaches. Different countries were there, US, Australia, and so many others. So what was like you felt when Leo Labs were talking, or Hawkeye we had? So what was their main focus on, sir?
See, what is interesting is that the ambassadors of various countries and defense attaches have also thrown in the technology ambassadors. And I suppose it is not the technology diplomacy and the space diplomacy and the corporate diplomacy. I think the world is largely moving together almost at the same. There are some nations earlier had gone ahead in technology and some were laggards. Largely with the startups coming up, the industry, the academia, and the institutions such as the think tanks all have come together to synergize to bring about how the future of technology is going to be infused as part of the comprehensive national power. Also, a very interesting element was discussed in DEFSAT was how the drones and the HAPS and the near Earth or near space is a new domain added to the space, so that becomes the aerospace as complete domain of warfare.
Very nice, sir. Thank you very much for speaking to us. So we draw the curtains for the DEFSAT, and then we meet again in July. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.